What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Terence Bud Crawford. Terence Crawford prefers facing Manny Pacquiao over Shawn Porter. The top pound-for-pound fighter and the WBO current welterweight champion, Terence Bud Crawford, which is 37-0, was in Las Vegas this past weekend to work the corner of Troy Isley, who won his pro debut with a unanimous decision over Brian Costello. The 4-round fight was on the Richard Comey / Jackson Martinez undercard. The bout streamed on ESPN Plus along with the rest of the non-televised undercard. In November, a feud erupted between Crawford and his promoter, top-ranked Bob Arum, who proclaimed that he wouldn't continue to lose money promoting Crawford's fights. Very disrespectful. Crawford responded by saying that Arum could simply release him of his contract. That was the way he felt. It appears that cooler heads have now prevailed, and Arum recently told Fight Hype's Shawn that he was working on securing either a Manny Pacquiao fight or a Shawn Porter fight as Crawford's next opponent for a spring return to the ring. Crawford said that he doesn't have a problem with either potential fight, but he prefers to fight against the legendary Pacquiao. And he said this quote, he says, "I don't know, we just have to wait and see. Both of them are great fights. Yeah, I prefer Manny Pacquiao over Shawn Porter, but Shawn Porter is a great fight in his own right, and I am going to be ready for whichever one comes to fruition," Crawford told Fight Hype. As for which fight he believes is more likely to happen, Crawford said he will be ready for either possibility. He said, "I really can't say. All I can do is prepare myself to the best of my abilities and be ready for whatever is put in front of me," Crawford explained. Pacquiao and Porter have vastly different fighting styles, and Crawford is known for his superb in-the-ring adjustments and does not anticipate any problems. Both of them have their own strong points. Manny Pacquiao is fast and moving. He can punch. Shawn Porter is aggressive, tough, and durable, Crawford stated. But Crawford was last in action in November, which he stopped Kell Brook in 4 rounds for his 4th title defense. He has won all 5 of those fights in the welterweight division via knockout. So that's something worth mentioning. Now, let me counterpunch. The back and forth between Shawn Porter and Terence Crawford, with Bob Arum, lowballing Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter respectfully saying, "Please don't lowball me. I do want the fight, though." So it's still up for grabs for negotiation. Manny Pacquiao, on the other hand, he's went to a path where he wanted to fight McGregor. McGregor's out. He was interested in fighting Errol Spence at some point, but it looks like that's not really going to happen. And he was going to fight Terence Bud Crawford before the pandemic, so I don't see why those guys can't fight. I don't see why after all these years those guys can't fight. In fact, I don't see why they haven't fought before. They were both with Top Rank at one point, with Bob Arum at one point. So I just find it strange. But Manny Pacquiao has set his price for $40 million, so we'll see how that goes. Now, as far as Terence Crawford, if I'm Terence Crawford, why not fight Manny Pacquiao? Now, don't get me wrong. Either one, it doesn't really matter because Manny is considered a champion in recess, so the only way that he could get another belt in the welterweight division is take on Ugas, right? But I think Spence's next opponent is Ugas, right? So I believe at this point that if he can't get a Shawn Porter won't take the money that Bob Arum gives him. I think go with Pacquiao. But then here's the thing. Will someone pay to see Pacquiao for $40 million and Bud 10? Either way, it's good for both fighters because I know Bud won't be complaining, but Bob Arum is set in his ways. He's 90 years old and he doesn't like bending for anybody. Okay, so I think that at the end of the day, his best bet should be a Shawn Porter. Because look, Manny Pacquiao, he's a congressman or a senator or which one he is. He's a political figure in the Philippines. We know that. We know he's almost 43 years of age. We know that Terence Crawford is 32 years of age, and he is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters. I don't know if Manny Pacquiao is best for him to go in the ring with Terence Crawford. Not saying he couldn't. There's no way he could beat Terence Crawford, but there's not. I would give the odds to Terence Crawford. Younger, stronger, taller. The style is bad. Freddie Roach admitted that the style was bad for Manny Pacquiao. So I really wouldn't. If I'm Manny, I wouldn't. But if I'm Terence Crawford and I had a choice, it would be Manny, because who doesn't want Manny on their resume? Who has the win over Manny? Let's see. Juan Manuel Marquez, Floyd Mayweather, Jeff Horn, Eric Morales. Who else? Timothy Bradley. Now, everybody that I just mentioned, probably exception of Jeff Horn, will be Hall of Famers. Eric Morales, Hall of Famer. Juan Manuel Marquez, Hall of Famer. Timothy Bradley, I think he would be a Hall of Famer too. Who else? Floyd Mayweather, definitely Hall of Famer. So, Terence Crawford, future Hall of Famer. So, if I'm Terence Crawford, I would want that fight, because it's all about being in the number of the people that beat that particular great fighter. No one could ever take that away after that. Even Timothy Bradley, a lot of people don't even think he beat Manny Pacquiao, but he still has that win. Okay, so I think that would be the fight, and I wouldn't argue with it, but I think realistically he should fight Shawn Porter. Same age, better style, I think better competition. It would look better, especially if he could stop someone tough, durable like Shawn Porter, very athletic. You know, good guy, great guy, love Shawn Porter, but it's all about showtime with that man. And if that man can take it to a big guy like Errol Spence, he can do something with Terence Crawford. I don't know what that is, but he can do definitely something. So, Terence Crawford, I hope he gets one of these fights. I could care less who he fights, as long as it's one of them. If he fights Shawn Porter, good. That's cracking the PBC island open, okay? That field, it's cracking that wide open. So now we're fighting PBC fighters versus ESPN fighters, okay? If he fights Manny Pacquiao, cool, that's the legacy fight. That fight should have been happening already, but then still, he's fought someone that all these other fighters couldn't fight. The only fighter that got the luxury is Keith one-time Thurman. So that's something else to think about. So as long as it's both of these guys, I don't care who it is, just get Terence Crawford in there with some of the best welterweights around. You guys tell me what you think about Terence Crawford's choices. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.